Hapo chini ma chini ruka, usitembee ruka. Hai DJ shikilia.
You can also put it in your palm, one or two, and then put your hand out. It will leak, don't worry. Apple. There.
So you count her to be the oldest when she is 25?
Yes.
The oldest. You say that?
Yeah. When you do that.
Wow.
I spoke to her when I told
her. So that is the house. That's the manor.
The hotel we were talking about, the house.
Yes.
The whole edge. So,
can we put a little soil?
Sure.
Somewhere.
Yeah. I'm going to ask my colleague to help you in the sergeant. Now.
All right.
And because of that, thank you. And because it is a ceremonial tree, we request you to use a spade to fill back.
You say you water the leaves. You do all for me.
her.
And I would like to welcome you all to the Giraffe Centre. Is there anybody this is their first time coming to Giraffe Centre? Anyone their first time coming here? I hope you get a moment to actually visit these lovely facilities. I hope you get some time to go interact with the giraffes, feed them, and then just across the road there's a nature trail. So why are we here today? We're here to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the Giraffe Centre and celebrate the work that the Giraffe Centre has been doing in saving the endangered Rothschild giraffe. This center at the moment, if you walked around, you've seen the giraffes on the other side. There are about 11 of them on the premises. But because of the work that the Giraffe Center does, the population of these giraffes has moved from the endangered species to now the level just above endangered. What do you call that level? Threatened, yes. Moved to just threatened. The population has now risen to a little more than 1,300 giraffes in the wild. And that's a very good thing to celebrate. That's why we're here, to celebrate the Giraffe Centre and also talk about how you as a Kenyan citizen can support the work that the Giraffe Centre does in saving this giraffe and also wildlife conservation. So I'd like to welcome you all, ladies and gentlemen. I see the presence of KWS here. Welcome you all. And over the next couple of minutes, we will have fun. But first, before we get started, let's rise for the national anthem.
Kuishi kwa amani, tutimize na malengo yetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu.
First, I'd like to welcome the CS in the Ministry of Tourism, Madam Peninah Malonza, karibu sana. I'd also like to recognize the presence of Peter Moll, KWS board member, karibu sana. I'd like to recognize the presence of Robert O'Brien, Deputy Director KWS, who's here representing the KWS Director General. I'd also like to recognize the presence of Dr. Leah Nganga, Representative Hotel and Tour Association, Jospat Ngoyo, who's a director at AFEW, Peter Njui, Representative Karura Forest, Annabelle Francesco, Chairman Manyango Safaris, Isabel Bindi, who's also here, and the board of directors of the Giraffe Centre, who are our hosts here today. They're the reason we've had this lovely entertainment. We've got beautiful meals over there. You know, I'm from Western Kenya, so when I see chicken on the menu, you're literally speaking to my heart. Literally. So thank you for feeding us today. And the board is led by Jagi Gakunju, who is the chairman of the board. There's Jim Justus Nyamu, who's a board member, Ricky Anderson, Sam Yade, retired, Christine Odhiambo, the chief executive officer of the Giraffe Centre, who runs this center, who has worked so hard to ensure that it's beautiful for us today, and Mr. Kanyeki, who's here, and everyone else, all other Kenyans who are here. Hamjambo tena. Karibuni sana, karibuni. Thank you for taking your time to come here and celebrate with us today. So the CS has, one of the things that the CS has done today is to commission a new section of this center. And I hope before you leave, you'll get to tour that section of the Giraffe Centre and get to see why it's new, what's new about it, what it means for the conservation efforts of the Giraffe Centre. So I hope you'll get to do that. Another thing that the CS has done is to plant trees, to plant a tree here. And I also like to encourage you to do the same. At where we were having entertainment there were trees there. I don't know if you noticed, there were trees there. And those are trees that are available for sale for as little as 100 shillings. You can get one tree, you can go plant it at your home, or you can ask for Christine to show you where to plant it on this property, and she will show you where to plant it. And then you will have made your mark in conservation efforts. So I'd like to welcome the board chairman of this center, Mr. Ngakunju, to make his welcome address.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. First of all, to welcome everybody and to welcome the chief guest, Honorable Madam Peninah Malonza, Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Heritage. We're very honored to have you here today. I know we met you in your office and you promised to be here, and I like that because you're a person of your word. I'd also like to say, to welcome the distinguished guests that are here. Ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. I am aware that we have been given the note that this particular ceremony should be done quickly because the Madam Cabinet Secretary is very busy. She's going to another function, but she honored us coming here. So I'm going to be very, very brief in going over some of the things I needed to do. One of them is to, first of all, share with you why we are here. We are here because of three things. One of them is to celebrate our 40th year since inception of Giraffe Centre. Giraffe Centre journey started not in 1983, but in 1974, when Jack Leslie Melville and Betty Leslie Melville, who were living in that house right across there, were touched by the idea of Kenya losing the Rothschild giraffe, or what is now known as Baringo giraffe. A giraffe that is found mainly in Kenya and Uganda, but had issues of habitat because the land where it used to be found around the equator used to be, being subdivided. So they first of all got 20 acres and managed to bring in giraffes, and found that that 20 acres was not enough. They needed to raise funds. They went back to their friends, especially in the United States, who raised money that ended up buying the 120 acres now we have for having the Rothschild giraffe. For those people who are probably not aware, Kenya has 3 subspecies of giraffes. We have the Rothschild giraffe or Baringo giraffe, which was in the endangered list. And we have the reticulated giraffe, you find it in the north. And we have the Maasai giraffe, or the common giraffe. The Rothschild giraffe or the Baringo giraffe is the most threatened of these 3 subspecies of giraffe. In the world, I'm told that we have 9 species of giraffes. So 3 of them are found in this country. The other point I wanted to talk about is, apart from the celebration of the 40th anniversary, is to officially commission the rebirth of Giraffe Centre, which started in a very small way in 1983. And now we have the new platform. Interestingly enough, we conceptualized that idea in 2000. I think this is just before 2019, just before COVID. And the reason why we thought that we needed to change the way we were doing things is that we wanted the people who come here to experience what it is we are doing. Before, people would come and feed the giraffes, but we thought that if they have an experience where they can understand why we could try and conserve the giraffe, the Rothschild giraffe, they would understand. The third point, why we are here, is that there are some people that I need to mention who have left a mark. A few of them that have been very pivotal in the survival and the existence of this particular institution. I want also to mention about what we do. I wanted to say that we do champion the conservation of the, as I said, of the Baringo giraffe. We also provide environmental education for the youth in Kenya. At least 3 million youth have benefited from environmental education since we started this program. We also support sustainable conservation project with conservation partners. And I know there are many of you who are here that the funds we are able to raise here, we have been able to share with you to also do your little thing, like Wangari Maathai said, that everybody should do their little thing in saving this fragile planet. The other point I wanted to say is that we run an iconic sustainable tourism destination for domestic and international tourists. So I want you to appreciate that at the moment, this is one of the most visited sites in Kenya. We are getting at the moment about 200,000 visitors per year, and about half of that are foreigners. So we also contribute, Madam Cabinet Secretary, to the tourism growth in this country and sustainable tourism. Why do we conserve the Rothschild giraffe? Like I said, there are 9 subspecies of giraffe in Africa, while Kenya has 3. For those people, as I said, there is the Maasai, there's some which you find in the more common. There is the reticulated, you find it in Samburu, and there is the Baringo giraffe, which at the moment did not have a home, but has found a home thanks to Kenya Wildlife Services. I think the other thing is that if you look at us as human beings, we are all interconnected. If, for example, bees did not exist, we would not exist because they do the pollination. If animals did not exist, we would not be able to exist. So it is important for us to understand that as we create our own space and our own survival, we have to think in a macro sense in terms of survival. Rothschild giraffe was in the endangered list, but now because the numbers have gone up, it's now in the what they call the near threatened list. Even we are not out of the woods yet, because at the moment the estimated number by the KWS in Kenya is 1,399. In 1984, when the project started, there were less than 120 Rothschild giraffe, and they were going to become extinct. At the moment, we have in the wild, as per statistics of 2018, the 1399 in Kenya, and it is known that Rothschild giraffe or the Baringo giraffe is only found in 2 countries at the moment, in Kenya and Uganda. So a lot of people are coming all over from all around the world to see this unique animal. And we are the ones who are holding most of it. About 90% of the wild Rothschild giraffe or the Baringo giraffe is found in Kenya. I talked about the refurbished facility. Again, I talked about people having a new experience. But let me go to what I consider an important part. You cannot do conservation on your own. It is a partnership. And if you look at the way we work, we have had excellent support from the government in growing this particular institution. So the Ministry of Education, in terms of using some of the curriculum and the education, conservation education materials we develop, we have worked together with them. But let me point out that KWS has been a partner like no other. They have designated various national parks because they do not want the interbreeding between the 3 species to be the destination for the Rothschild giraffe. It is Mwea, we have Nakuru National Park, and we have Ruma, and now we have a couple of conservancies that also have been supported by KWS to keep the Rothschild giraffe. including the Soisambu, Kegio, and I think now there is a new national park that is being rehabilitated, which is Rimoi, which is the true home of the Rothschild giraffe in the Rift Valley. So thank you very much to the Kenya government and the wildlife, the Kenya Wildlife Services. And the Kenya Wildlife Services has not only been a supporter in terms of translocating the giraffes to those particular facility areas, but they have also provided the veterinary support for the animals. And this is a very specialized line when you have vet work of our wild animals, of animals. We thank also the stakeholders, and internal shareholders, and particularly fellow members, directors, and the staff of this organization. If it is not also the dedicated work of the board and the members of staff and the members of this organization and the communities, we have neighbors here, and the communities that support us here, we would not have been where we are. I say that there are some few names I would like to mention of people who have really dedicated their time in bringing this organization to where it is, Giraffe Centre. One of them I would like to mention is an old friend of mine called Honorable Peninah Malonza. He's the former Minister of Tourism and Wildlife who commissioned the original Giraffe Centre in 1983. He lives not far from here. I went to see him last night to see whether he can come, but he's not feeling well. He's 91 years old. But he said he is going to come here and see the work he had done. I think I'm having a problem with the communication, so I'll do a bit of shouting. I think the other two people I'd like to mention is Mr. and Mrs. Anderson, the director now of AFEW, and his wife. The wife, Bernie, is the one who supervised the building of the old center of the Giraffe Centre, the round area where you stand before you feed the giraffes. But they have been in the forefront in really helping us in building this particular place. When they ran the Giraffe Manor for 25 years, the part of the money they made was the money that was used to help us grow this particular organization. So I'd like to thank them, to recognize them for that. The other person I'd like to recognize is another old friend of mine, KWS Damu, Sam Ngete, one of the longest members that I found when I came to AFEW. Mr. Ngete and Mrs. Ngete, I would like to say thank you very much for a job well done. I'd like those people that I have mentioned to come near. I think I have got one person. Is one of the longest serving member of staff, Rebecca Sebuge. She has been here devoted, always having a smile. I cannot understand how she has kept a smile for 32 years. I've never seen her without a smile. So I'd like them to come here and receive a commemoration plaque from Madam Cabinet Secretary, just to say thank you, because we cannot pay you enough for what you have done for tourism in Kenya and for conservation of the Rothschild giraffe. Can I start with somebody to take something for Honorable Peninah Malonza? I think I'll ask maybe Jim Nyamu to do that. Jim Nyamu, can you do that for Peninah Malonza? That is the minister who commissioned the Giraffe Centre in 1983 as the Minister for Tourism. Yeah. I need you here, Brownie. Good. Mr. and Mrs. Anderson, next. Why are you shy? Don't be shy.
Excuse.
Okay.
Run this way.
Okay, can you face the camera so that you can get a good photo? Because these photos are, yes? I think Mr. and Mrs. Sam Ngete, if you can start coming slowly. Thank you very much, Madam Cabinet Secretary. These are people that are pillars of excellence in terms of conservation. Mr. Sam Ngete worked in the ministry with the KWS for many years, and he is still a member. And Mrs. Ngete, no successful man can move forward without a successful wife. So thank you, Mrs. Ngete, too. Is Rebecca around? With that famous smile of hers? Bring her here. Rebecca, we want that smile. Keep smiling. I forgot to warn you, I wanted you to bring the family with you. But Rebecca, thank you very much for what you have done. God bless you and God keep on blessing you. Thank you very much. Okay, I think the other member is Dr. Ibrahim Ali. When I was talking to Mr. O'Brien, he was saying that he has just come from northern Kenya and there is need for us to look after the giraffes in that particular area. And Ibrahim Ali comes from, I think he came from Wajir as a teacher. I think his home is Garissa. So I'll talk to him because we need to start thinking about the north. There is a lot of land, there are a lot of animals, and we need to support that particular area in terms of conservation. So I think somebody can pick up for Ibrahim Ali. Who will do that? Okay, Swale. Swale is a member of AFEW. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. In conclusion, because I need to conclude what I'm saying, because I'm very happy seeing your faces and seeing everybody here. It's a joy for me to be here. But I'd like to conclude with the 2004 Nobel Prize winner, Professor Wangari Maathai, when she says that it's the little things citizens do, that's what will make the difference. So it is the little thing that you will do to preserve and conserve this fragile planet that will make the difference. And she said, my little thing is planting trees. So the question is, what is your little thing? So before you leave, we have trees. We have been having a nursery. If you want to buy one to go and plant a tree, at least plant a tree today. Thank you very much. I would like to call Mr. Robert O'Brien from KWS to come and invite the member of the board, Peter, because as I said, KWS and AFEW or Giraffe Centre are like twins. Karibu.
Thank you very much. Our Cabinet Secretary, the board representative of Kenya Wildlife Services, board representative, and the board of Giraffe Centre. My name is Captain Robert O'Brien, and I'm the Senior Assistant Director in charge of Community Relations and Outreach. And I'm here to represent my Director General because he's out in another conservation work. Personally, I want to recognize the presence of a former director of Kenya Wildlife Services, Naime Rotish, I'm happy to see you, sir. Sam, it's good to see you again, Sam. Thank you very much. Then I want to say that the Giraffe Centre is a partner to us in conservation. And my department is on community wildlife services and partnership. So being here is actually a lot to me. And I'm very happy to see what you've done. I'm very impressed on the communication side. And I think we're going to partner because conservation education is also under me. So we're going to partner. The plight of the elephants, the giraffes in northeastern is big. These days we want to call them the Somali giraffe, the reticulated giraffe. We have thousands and thousands of these mighty beasts in the north, and we are losing them. With the drought of the last 2 years, I don't want to say how many we have lost, but it is true that we have lost a lot. Last year I was in charge of Northeastern, and I know what I have lost because I flew over the place when they were dying. So seeing what you are doing here with the giraffes, I think we can partner and we will save the giraffes in Northeastern. It's nothing much. The security we are doing it, but water is the biggest problem. Remember, the only river is Tana River. And Tana River, all along Tana River, both sides of Tana River, we have what we call Mavenge. For a kilometer or two, the whole place is Mavenge. We need to clear ways for the giraffes to go to the water. Save the giraffes now has helped a lot in doing that, and I know that with your partnership, we will do better. Lastly, I think I can't talk more about the partnership and what we do with the Giraffe Centre, but I thank you for what you are doing for the giraffes, and I know we will partner and we will do better as with Kenya Wildlife Services. Please, because of time, allow me to invite my board member, Peter Moll, so that he can talk and invite the CS. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this great honor. All protocols observed. Waziri, these people are very humble. They're very humble. What the Giraffe Centre has been able to achieve is beyond measure and beyond any sort of measuring stick that you'd want to give. Myself, the Giraffe Centre inspired me and gave me the idea that me, an ordinary Kenyan, can interact with wildlife. And even that access to giraffes, that access to this place has increased, Waziri. Before it was very hard for an ordinary Kenyan to be here. But this team has worked so hard to make it so accessible to many Kenyans, Waziri. Another thing I want to say, Waziri, is that you can see what it means to them. You can see it on their faces, even as I look at many people I know here and many I don't know. These 40 years means so much. And I really want to say congratulations, because you are actually ticking 3 boxes of Waziri's docket. You tick the conservation box, you're repopulating, you're rewilding, you're doing really serious critical work. You tick the tourism box, as you heard, 200,000 per year. Can you clap for yourselves? So you're bringing not just normal tourists, also high-end tourists. So there's a balance, domestic and also international. And last but not least, they tick the culture and heritage. The community engagement they're doing, how they're opening their doors. And I always say giraffe is the most beautiful print. And as you can see, some of these lovely ladies, but you know, it's not real giraffe, Waziri. Yes. Waziri, this place, like I said, they're being very humble, and I really want to give them their feathers. I want to say everyone who has been part of this journey, all the conservationists, those who are now in the board. I see my friend Jim Nyamo, I see Jagi, I see many people that I have grown up knowing. And I'm just very happy to be here today with you and to see
the evolution, to see the great work that is being done here. So before I conclude, Waziri, all protocols observed, you will allow me to be me. I want you to repeat after me. Are we ready? Because I want you to warm up for Waziri. Sawa sawa. So repeat after me. Everywhere we go, people always ask us, who we are, and what we stand for. We always tell them, standing for giraffes. And if they don't hear us, we shout a little louder. Standing for giraffes. Standing for giraffes. Standing for giraffes. Standing for giraffes. Waziri, I think they're almost ready. I think I was almost louder than them, but we'll forgive them. So Waziri, I just want to say you're in good hands here. As you heard, Kenya Wildlife Service has been partnering with the Giraffe Centre, and it's been a very seamless synergy. It has been a very fruitful engagement, and I hope through your docket you will support them, you will help them grow. As you said, you had 200,000, you want 1 million. It's up to us to help them. So I really want to say Kenya Wildlife Service is happy, and as the youngest board member ever in the history of Kenya Wildlife Service, I'm also happy and humbled to be part of you. So yes, thank you. So without further ado, hongera sana, keep up the good work. We are behind you as Kenya Wildlife Service, and I'm sure Waziri will speak on the behalf of the ministry. So I want us to give her a very interesting clap to welcome her. So it's gonna be very simple. I'll say 1, 2, 3, you clap. 1, 2, 3, you clap. 1, 2, 3, you clap. Sawa. But you clap like you're giving her a clap. Sawa. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Karibu Waziri.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moll. The chairman, can I push it? The chairman of AFEW Centre, Mr. Jagi Kakunju, director of AFEW Centre, Mr. Rick Addison and your wife, KWS Senior Assistant Director, Mr. Robert O'Brien, AFEW board members, let me just say all of you. We have Hasna Abdallah, and we have Mr. Swale Kanyeki as our CEO, Christine Othiambo, and all friends of Giraffe Centre, and our very own, before the estate, who are with us today. A very good morning. Wow, it's so exciting to be here. Really, not because of the dance, but because of the environment. Allow me to say that I've never been in such an early event like this one that has energy like I've seen. So I want to commend you for coming here very early in the morning and commend your efforts of making it here and doing some little work like planting trees and of course interacting with the giraffes. Allow me to say that I'm pleased to grace this wonderful occasion organized by African Fund for Endangered Wildlife Kenya to commemorate the 40th anniversary of Giraffe Centre. Congratulations to the management of this center for the noble and commendable wildlife conservation work done over these many years. The Giraffe Centre has been a symbolic and iconic wildlife sanctuary offering safe space for the endangered Rothschild giraffe. I note that this center has also been one of the excellent ecotourism sites promoting wildlife-based tourism and conservation education services. The center is key to promoting the expansion of space for wildlife conservation, a priority for our ministry and our country. The diminishing space for conservation remains an impediment to sustainable conservation and management of our wildlife. We thus commend AFEW for improving the infrastructure to make the center more responsive to conservation and customer needs. The ministry will therefore continue to partner and collaborate with AFEW to ensure we achieve our conservation goals. Over the years, AFEW has demonstrated exemplary work performance in conservation of wildlife and related educational programs for our local people and international tourists. We note that the number of the Rothschild giraffe species has declined over the years due to the negative human factors on the species and its habitat, which calls for continued and concerted conservation efforts to reduce the threat posed to the species. We hope that AFEW will maintain the facilities and its associated programs for the future generations. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to reiterate that conservation of wildlife calls for partnerships and collaborations. And I want to repeat these words because I know the chairperson has already talked about collaboration. But indeed, if we want to go far, we can only do conservation through partnerships and collaboration. This is more informed by the fact that more than 65% of wildlife in Kenya is found outside the protected areas that we call national parks and national reserves, as well as county reserves, and we need to maintain such species for continued conservation. In the recent dispensation, partnerships and collaboration is also key in mobilizing resources and minimizing duplication of efforts to support sustainable conservation goals. I therefore call upon all conservation partners and communities to sustainably conserve and manage wildlife. As we all know, effects of climate change have caused a devastating impact on wildlife. And we just came from a very long drought. And we are all witnesses of what it did to this country in terms of wildlife death. The recent drought in our country resulted in wildlife mortalities, a reduction in the quality of habitats in both protected areas and rangelands. It is for this reason that I urge all of us to take advantage of the rains and join the 15 billion tree planting initiative to contribute to the global efforts towards climate change mitigation. Ladies and gentlemen, over the years, the African Fund for Endangered Wildlife has demonstrated how collaborative research can inform decision making for better results. Such best practices in conservation should be replicated across the wildlife sector to ensure that conservation is guided by data and information generated by scientific research. That is the government setup. That's why the government set up the Wildlife Research and Training Institute in Naivasha. We refer to it as WARDI, to ensure that Kenya's conservation efforts are backed by scientific data. At this juncture, I wish to laud the AFEW for undertaking impactful initiatives such as the Green Schools concept and education for sustainable development, projects that are well aligned with our mandates as a ministry as well as Kenya Kwanza plan. We will continue to partner in this noble conservation initiative, and I want to guarantee you my support as a cabinet secretary together with my principal secretaries. As I conclude, I would like to appeal to you to join hands in conservation of wildlife as a natural heritage, wildlife resources that God has given, and a treasure that is given to us by God, that we should protect for our own benefits and posterity. Our Kenya Kwanza government takes conservation seriously, because wildlife conservation supports local people and is a good model of how bottom-up approach can be anchored in the country's development agenda. It is now my singular honor to declare the refurbished Giraffe Centre officially open. Thank you very much, and God bless you. I would have really wished to stay a little longer, but I have to cruise all the way to northern Kenya for giraffe conservation work. And therefore, I want to commend the great work that Giraffe Centre has done. It did. We've heard of your stories out there, and we will continue to work together. This morning I shared with the chairperson, and he told me that he has been receiving 200,000 tourists in this center. And I want to believe that if we collaborate, and as I work harder to ensure that we open up this country for tourists, I want to believe this center will be in a position to receive not only the 200,000 they've been receiving, but to a tune of 1 million, all the way to 3 million. It is possible. Because believe me, one gallery center in South Africa receives 3 million tourists per year. Why not Giraffe Centre? This is such a nice place where you can even have an opportunity to feed the giraffes. I've never known how they graze or they brace, but today I've seen the power of the tank. I didn't know. And that sent me to a thinking of even how we human beings feed. I want to believe it's not the teeth, it's the tank. And so I want to commend all of us, and I want to encourage you, wherever you are, you can do that little thing Wangari Maathai talked about, and that little thing that our chairman has just been singing all through the entire morning. I want to believe that we all know where we're coming from, especially with the drought. We saw the danger. We saw our animals die. I remember one time I landed in Wajir, and I'm a witness of how giraffes were offering in that town. But I saw this waterfall that were just right in the middle of the airport. At that time I flew with the Waziri for Defense. And as I was so concerned about my waterfall, the Waziri was concerned about security. And he loudly said, and I began conversing with him and telling him, let's drive them out. And he said, how do you know they don't have a microchip plugged on them to come and take information? And you see, I realized how endangered they were. I don't know whether they survived, they were 5 in number, but what I can say is that I saw wildlife. They cannot speak for themselves. And that's why sometimes you heard me in Mombasa talk about the turtles. And I was saying, what if God made a mistake and created you a giraffe? Or created you even an elephant, or that wathon? You know, you would be there, you can talk, you're looking at humans to really, for your survival. And what I want to say is that God created this world so that we can live harmoniously with the wildlife and with the plants. And let me tell you, the beauty of it all is when these three coexist. That's when you have the longevity of life. I can tell you for sure. Look at it that way. We are all brothers. We're brothers with plants, we're brothers with wildlife. And the minute we begin looking at these two like that, we'll never cut down trees, we'll never poach our wildlife. We will live harmoniously. And allow me to say that we want to open a window where Kenya is going to benefit more because of the many resources that we have in the area of tourism, in terms of tourist attraction sites that we have in this country. Allow me to say also, and I'm not preempting, but it's good to know that the president of this country will be taking the royal tour. The royal tour is that where he'll become a tour guide for 8 good days, cruising every part of this country and showcasing the beauty, the landscape, the wildlife, the oceans, the rivers, the falls, and everything. And of course, our beautiful culture to the globe. At that moment, I want to tell you, Kenya will be open. because we got millions of touristic attractions in this country. And therefore I want to encourage you and call upon the further states, our press people in this country, partner with us. Let's sing loudly about the praises of Kenya in terms of the entombments and the beauty that we have in this country. Believe me, the minute you walk out there, you will appreciate what Kenya has. Including the parts of northern Kenya that we see bare. We will sell those deserts. We will do the desert cruising and everything that we can do in those regions. And so this country is so blessed with the fishing lions of Lamu, the bathing elephants of Tana River, the baboons, barazas, and parliament of Suswa. What more can I talk? The smiling people of Kenya. And so therefore, people, I want to speak these words that I spoke in German the other day when I was addressing the diaspora there and the ambassador. Kenya, we have to stop lamentation. We have to embrace art. As we count our chronicles and our journey so that we can sing the songs of Solomon. And let me do it well in the biblical manner. Drop the book of Lamentations. Pick the book of Acts as you narrate chronicles so that we can sing the songs of Solomon. Thank you and God bless you.
The house you see here is the house we saw up out there. This was the original Giraffe Centre, the one that was opened 30 years ago, 40 years ago, and was built by yours truly.
Yes, I can tell you that I went to Kikuyu. At that time it was forest, and I chose 16 trees that were there, and we built it. And the first year only 127 children came. So you know, you can see how it has changed over time. I think that's enough, Kristen.
Very modest. And so I'd like to invite Madam Waziri, together with her, with Brani, to come and just cut this cake.